Jujutsu Kaisen is fucking amazing. What I expected to be a stereotypical mediocre shonen anime was instead a blindingly beautiful roller coaster of stellar top-tier animation, compelling characters, an explosively paced story, and an all-around amazing experience. Watching this show felt wildly exhilarating, and I loved every single second of it. This video will have mild spoilers, so if you want to go in completely blind, you should come back to it later. My favorite thing about this show was its characters. While the anime didn't delve too deep into detailed storytelling, it more than made up for that with phenomenally developed character relationships and character depth. Every character had clear and understandable motives. Most of them were given strong backgrounds and were fleshed out more than enough. It was interesting to see the complex relationships formed between these characters and how they reacted to each other. I love it a lot when characters are properly explained and have strong backstories, so since the show had so much of that, it's something I really appreciate about it. Yuji and Sukuna had a very interesting dynamic that reminded me a lot of Naruto and Kurama. It's not totally the same, but the basic idea and dynamic is just very reminiscent of that for me. Every character had a plethora of interesting personality quirks that helped distinguish them from each other. They all possessed a unique set of abilities, and interestingly enough, none of their powers felt weird, unnatural, or unnecessary. Well, at least as much as that can be true for a piece of supernatural, fantastical fiction. Seeing these characters use their abilities in so many different ways in different circumstances helped me feel that these were not just one-note characters. They actually had the intelligence to pull crazy things off. The way that they analyzed different circumstances and pulled through using their own abilities in different ways was a very interesting and fresh part of the characters that I really loved seeing. The character designs felt extremely fitting and looked so fucking cool. Every character looked unique and they were all designed beautifully. I loved that even though some of their uniforms were bland, their faces, hair, and other features were vividly colorful. The animation was some of the best shit I've ever seen. MAPPA is a phenomenal studio. I loved what they did with Attack on Titan Season 4, and I loved this equally as much, if not more than that. Every sequence felt like a labor of love. Every frame was so highly detailed and strongly animated. Not just the fight scenes, but just the casual animation sequences too. But holy shit, the fight scenes blew my mind. Watching those scenes really showed me how real the hype was. The combat between the characters felt visceral and gritty. I was audibly gasping and yelling while watching Yuji beat down curses. Watching overpowered characters absolutely mop the floor with enemies that others struggled with was immensely satisfying to me. I enjoyed watching certain characters demolish anything and everything in their paths. It's even more amazing that every single episode features superbly animated action sequences. That's something that's really rare in a lot of anime, especially a lot of shonen anime, because most of it is filled with exposition and a lot of dialogue. So this is something really new and something that I appreciate about this show. There was still the usual conversations between two individuals fighting and whatnot, but it didn't feel as weird as it did in other shows, and it didn't drag on for too long, as it was always between phenomenally crafted action sequences. Again, these sequences were in every single episode, which I'm so amazed by. The fight scenes were definitely the best part of the visuals, but the animation was still always absolutely top tier, consistent, beautiful, vivid, and visceral. Now, the soundtrack and the sound design are aspects of the show that I absolutely adored. Every piece of music used fit the situations they were used for. The fight sequences were always accompanied by the coolest tracks, and every moment felt so badass. The intros and outros were so good too. But for me, the sound design took the cake. Every fight was made 1,000 times better by the nearly perfect sound effects. Hearing the crunch of bones, the slam of a fist, the slice of a blade, and the hammering of nails in such a detailed and well-crafted way made my ears cry from pleasure. Every little audible detail was recorded in such beautiful high quality, and I'm honestly in shock with how good everything sounded. I really enjoyed every second of the show, and I'm happy I waited to binge it, because being able to watch these episodes with little to no gaps between really helped the pacing for me. It's just been one season, and I've heard the manga gets even better after the arcs adapted for the show, so I'm excited to pick that up soon and see where these characters eventually go. and I'm even more excited to see more of this show adapted by MAPPA, because every second of this experience was phenomenal, and I'm glad I ended up watching this show. I hope you all are doing well. As for me, I just bought a new microphone. Well, it's the same microphone, but just a newer model. It works just as well as my old one, so I'm happy I was able to get it. I should be done with high school soon, and hopefully I can start making videos more often again. Let me know what you want to see from me, as well as any recommendations for games, anime, manga, TV shows, or films you'd like me to experience. If I enjoy them enough and have something to say, I'll for sure make videos on them. I have some videos on The Last of Us Part 2 in the works, as well as some on Attack on Titan. I hope to get these videos out soon. That's all I have to say for this video. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing if you're new, and click the notification bell so that you never miss my uploads. My socials and Discord are linked below, as is my Patreon. Thank you for stopping by, don't forget to look for the light, and goodbye for now.